Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Anna and I'm a knitter, spinner, sewist, maker living in Seattle, Washington. And today I want to talk to you about everything that I worked on in the month of September. It was September. Mostly knitting. I have some spinning. Did not do any sewing this month. But yeah, that's what we're going to chat about. I think I've got a couple finished objects, a few little works in progress, and some finished spinning skeins to show you as well. So that's what we're going to get up to today.
Hi friends, it's Editing Anna from the future. I'm just warning you that there's something weird with the audio and it kind of makes like a tapping sound throughout. This video is already later than I want it to be, so I don't have to refilm it, so I'm just going to keep going. If that's annoying, you're welcome to click away and I'll see you next month. But if you can stick through it, I really appreciate it.
I'm wearing my sweater number 14 V-neck by My Favorite Things Knitwear, which I finished in June or July, and I wear at least once a week. It's really great. It's knit in Cascade Yarns Aereo, which is discontinued, but it's a blown yarn that's very similar to like Drops Air or Senescar Kus or Broca Mochi, Camarosa Snefnug, that kind of thing. So if you wanted to make this in a similar yarn, I really recommend it. The neck is quite wide, but it's very relaxed, very cozy, and I wear it a ton. So I'm really enjoying it so far. And that is a good, I guess, we'll start with the finished. I have a couple finished objects. I have three actually. They're all baby knits and only one of them you've seen before. So we'll start with that one, which is, well, it's almost finished. I just need to sew the buttons on. This is the Caramel Cardigan, which is a pattern by Freya. I think they're a German yarn company, and they have quite a few free patterns, which are really nice. This one is just a very basic broken rib stitch baby cardigan with a raglan, very like the wide raglan and the broken rib. I made this in the 80 centimeter size, which I find European children sizes a little difficult to understand for me to wrap my head around, but I think it's either between 12 to 18 months or 18 to 24 months size. So it's like a 1 to 2 year size. And I tried it on Caroline and it's a little bit big for her, but it actually does fit her now. She's a chunky girl. So, there's enough like length in the sleeves for it to fit for a while, but I think it'll be good to have this winter, and hopefully she can wear it through the spring as well because it's a nice springy color, and then maybe even next fall. We'll see. But yeah, I feel like I don't have a ton to say about this. I guess what I will say is that I don't like broken rib. I mean, the texture is very pretty, but I feel like because I should probably tell you about the yarn. This is knit with Hobby Alpaca, Soft Alpaca, I think it's called. The fingering weight version. They have a lace weight version as well. And it's a really pretty heathery teal color. It's called Sage. The color's called Sage Melange, but it's definitely more blue than green. I would not call this a sage. But just because of the nature of the yarn, I don't feel like the stitch definition is great on the broken rib. And so it was a lot of work for maybe not the best result. I think this yarn would lend better to stockinette or just something without quite as much texture. I think the good thing is that it's very stretchy. So again, it will fit her for longer. And honestly, like when she gets bigger and it stretches out a bit more, like when this is stretched, she might be able to, you might be able to see the texture a little bit better. The fabric is stretched. But either way, I think it's cute. It took me, how long did this take me? Like maybe 6 weeks to knit. And I did like do some spend a lot of time on this the last couple weeks. Because I wanted to get it done so I could work on some other projects for her. Generally, I like to have like one project for me and one project for her at one time. And I have a bunch of other stuff I wanted to knit for her, so I wanted to get this one done. Yeah, I think the one thing I will have to say is that there's not like a pickup ratio, or there's not a pickup number for the button band. There's a pickup ratio, which I ended up not even paying attention to. And so I think my button bands are a little tight, but I stretched them out quite a lot. So I think in the end they're fine, but they don't have a lot of give to them, which maybe is good, like adds a little bit more structure. And I feel like the sleeves are quite long. I don't know. It's really hard to gauge with children's garments, like the length of the sleeve, because babies are shaped so like their arms are so short compared to their head and their torso. And like, it's an odd, babies are funky. But it turned out really cute. I think for the buttons, I either just want to do some like clear buttons or just something like a clear plastic or like a sheer plastic in this color. Like I don't want them to be super noticeable. And I'm perfectly fine to let her wear it without buttons because I don't really button up a cardigan for her. She has another cardigan that I knit her before she was born that's that I put her in a lot when she was smaller. She probably would still fit. I haven't tried it on her in a while. But it has buttons on it, and I don't think I ever buttoned them. Maybe I would do the top button now that she's a little bit more mobile and moving around, but I'm not like super pressed to get the buttons on. So I think next time I'm in my local yarn store or at the big box craft store, I'll pop and see if I can find buttons, but I'm not in a rush to get buttons on this. So yeah, I've woven in all my ends except for this one little join in the back where I did a magic knot. But yeah, I feel like it's very cute. It did not use as much yarn as I thought it was going to. I wanted to use up I had 3 balls of the Hobby soft alpaca, and I barely broke into the 3rd ball. So I have this, and each ball is about 150 meters, I want to say. So I think I probably have 100 meters left, if not a little bit more, that I don't know what I'm going to do with. I was thinking about this because I have another project that I was trying to use up all the yarn and didn't use it all up. And I think I would rather play yarn chicken and lose and like have to crop something than knit the garment pattern and have extra yarn. I hate having leftover yarn. I have so many scraps and I don't know what to do with them. And it just like, I don't like having, I love the satisfaction of a project that uses every last bit of yarn. It's so nice. So that's not the case for this one. And I don't know what I'm going to do with 100 grams of fingering weight alpaca, but I will see. But anyway, that's my project. It took me a while. Like, fingering weight projects are not for the weak. Like, the stitch count on this in fingering weight is like similar to the stitch count of this, which is worse in weight. It's just kind of crazy, but it's fine. All in all, I think it's very cute. It turned out nice. And it will be good and very versatile for the next couple seasons, because I feel like I like that it's like it's lightweight. That's part of the reason I made a fingering weight garment, is that like the alpaca will keep her warm when it's cold, but if it starts like in the springtime when it's a little bit warmer and she's a little bit bigger, it'll stretch the fabric out and it'll be a little bit more breathable. So all in all, I'm happy with it. It's very cute. I wouldn't say it's like amazing, but it's very functional and that will be nice. So that's my finished object number 1, which you have seen before. And then the next 2 you haven't. This first one is this little hat. This is what's it called? It's a top-down hat pattern because this is my hand spun yarn. I spun this yarn when Caroline, like I got my spinning wheel. So back my background on spinning. I got my spinning wheel like maybe 2 weeks before Caroline was born in February. So I was just kind of getting more confident at spinning, and then right after she was born, my mom came and I was like, oh, I want to try dyeing. She had a bunch of white fiber that she brought with me so we could both spin on the spinning wheel. And so I dyed some, like hand dyed it, and then spun it. And this is that fiber. So this is fiber that I dyed and spun when Caroline was really young. Like she was weeks old when I dyed and spun the yarn. And then I've knit it for her into this little hat. And I think it turned out really cute. I mean, it's a little bit stripy, but it's very cute, and it kind of has a gradient, so it's more pink up here and then there's more green in the yarn down here. I did knit it top down because I wanted to use all of the yarn. I didn't want to have extra, and so I used a drops pattern. I think it's called let me look it up so that I can get the name right of the pattern, because there are a lot of top down patterns. There are a lot of hat patterns in the world that are free, but not a lot of top down hat patterns that are free, and I wanted a top down free hat pattern because I didn't feel the need to buy, like there's so many free hat patterns. Unless I'm like really in love with the hat pattern, I'm not gonna pay for one, like for a basic 1x1 rib. So I used the increases for it's called the Hot Cocoa Hat by Drops. And you start, and then you do these like, it's kind of like makes these eyelets almost in this little star pattern. You see the little eyelets, you like do a bunch, like 5, you increase like 4 stitches into 1 stitch, and so it makes these eyelets. I think it turned out cute. I think if I was going to do it again, I would modify it a little bit to do maybe 3 increases in a stitch, and then just do them more frequently around. I think it looks nice. It's more rounded, it's not super pointy. And then I just increased until I got the stitch count for the classic ribbed hat by Pearl Soho, because I knit this on a 3mm needle, I think. With the Hot Cocoa Hat is written for like an adult size, and I think it's made with Drops Air, so it's much chunkier, but I was using this as like a sport weight yarn on a 3mm needle. And I I use the stitch count for the Classic Curved Hat by Pearl Soho, the adult small size, because Caroline has a really big head. She has like top of the charts sized head. She always has, so it's not like something to worry about, but she's got a big noggin, and so I'm at the adult small size, and it fits her now like comfortably, but I think it will continue to fit her for a couple more years because her head's not going to keep growing super fast. And it's long enough. Like right now the brim is pretty long when she wears it, but she can unfold the brim. We can unfold the brim down as her head grows or whatever. So all in all, I'm really happy with it. It turned out really cute. I love the way that the hand spun looks. I didn't know what else to do with this yarn, so I feel like this is a good use for it. And it does feel very like sentimental that this is yarn that I dyed and spun when she was super little, and now she gets to wear it and keep her head warm. And she doesn't really like to wear it. She pulls it off, but she looks very cute in it. I'll put a picture here of her wearing it and playing with some toys, but all in all, I'm really happy with it. I think it's cute. It's perfect for a little girl. It's very cute and rustic. Honestly, I could probably fit it on my head, but I actually no, I probably couldn't. I have a really big head too. That's where she gets it from. But yeah, it turned out very cute. It took like a weekend. I think I knit this up in a couple days, like a day or two. So super fun and fast, and it was a good free top-down hat pattern if you're looking for one. The hot cocoa hat from Drops. So yeah, there it is. That's finished object number 2. And then finished object number 3 was a super speedy knit. This is the fastest I've knit anything in a long time. And I cast this on last week, Sunday. Today is Sunday. I cast this on last week and I finished it yesterday. So it took 6 days for me to knit this project. And it is well, I need to weave in the ends on this side, but beyond that, it's done, and I've woven in all the other ends. This is the Badger Sweater by Anne Vinsel. And I made this with the leftovers from this sweater. So originally the Cascade Aereo that I bought for this, I bought actually for a different pattern, a all over color work pattern from a book that I have. Is it here? Yeah. It's this book. It's called Scandinavian Sweaters by Kristen Viola Odegaard. And I bought the yarn to make this sweater, the urban pullover, which is really pretty. But I started knitting it, and like the sizing was weird. There's something about the grading and that was not right. And so I wasn't going to be very happy with it, and I was going to have to do a bunch of modifications to make it work. And I just decided it wasn't worth it to me. So I sat on the yarn for a while. I decided to make this sweater for me. But then I still had a full ball of white, which was going to be the contrast color in that sweater. And then I had almost a full ball of the brown left over after I finished this sweater. So I was like, oh, I want to make the Badger Sweater, because I have a Badger in Bloom by Anne Vinsel that I made almost 3 years ago now in Let Lopi, and I really like it. I think I really like the fit of that sweater. It's like the only circular yoke sweater that I've made before that I really like the fit of, and I like the look of it. I think it's gorgeous. I honestly might make myself another one because I enjoyed knitting this one so much. But I was like, oh, I can just use the leftover yarn to make a matching one for Caroline. So this is the Badger Sweater, which is the kids pattern version of the Badger in Bloom. And I made the smallest size, which is a 2-year size. So it's a little big on her still. She's only 7 months old. So it's a little bit big, but it will fit her. If I roll up the sleeves, she could probably wear it, and then it'll fit her for next winter, probably, and maybe the winter after that. So we've got it. It's a long-term project. But the reason I cast this on was, one, because I wanted to use the yarn and get it out of stash. I did not get it out of stash. But also because I wanted to knit it with Inga, my friend Inga from Knitting Traditions. She also has a daughter who's very close in age with Caroline. I think Inga's daughter Nellie is like 6 weeks older than Caroline. So they're very close in age. And then Inga has also knit a Badger in Bloom by Anne Vinsel. So I was like, oh, well, let's knit them together. We can do like a little knit along. And both our girls we can both match with them, and they can match with each other. It'll be very cute. It's more like coordinating than matching, because my Badger sweater is black and gray, and this one's brown and white. And then I think Inga's is black and white, but the one she knit for Nellie is super colorful. So it's more like coordinating than matching, but it's still fun. So Inga and I cast this on together last Sunday. We had a little video call and chatted for like 2 hours and knit on our sweaters, and it was very fun. And then I was having so much fun with it that I just kept going. So I did the whole yoke last week, and then I finished that blue cardigan that I just showed you, and then I knit the body in like, I don't know, an evening or two, and then ribbing, and then I did the sleeves. This sleeve probably took me an hour, like the whole thing. This was one of the fastest things I've ever knit. And like I think in total it maybe took me 10 to 12 hours to make the whole thing. So if you want to make, like, this would be a really great gift baby knit, because the yarn, it used less than 200 grams of blown yarn, which, by the way, if you're in the US, I recently got an Instagram ad for Joann, which is one of our big box craft stores. They have a new in-house blown yarn from their like in-house brand, K+C Craft. I think it's called the Cloud Alpaca, and it's wool, alpaca, and nylon, which most blown yarns are. So, and it's like a very affordably priced. I think you can, even when they often run sales, and it's like, I think even full price, it's like $8 a ball. Very good price here. So if you're looking for a blown yarn, I haven't tried it yet, but I think I might. And so PSA, just if you're looking for a blown yarn at a good price, maybe check that one out and let me know what you think. But this used very little. I think the main color I have, I think 20 grams left. So 80 grams of the main color, and it's 230 meters for that 100 gram skein. So I used like less than 200 meters of the main color, and then the contrast even probably, I don't know. I don't even know how much I had. So it's not very much. All that to say, this is a really, like, it does not use very much yarn. I think Inga's using Sandnesgarn Koss, and she'll probably only need like a ball and a half for the main color, and then whatever you have for the top. So like it would be a very affordable and fast gift knit if you wanted to do that. And I'm trying to decide if I want to make one for James too, so we can all have family badger sweaters, but we'll figure that out later. But anyway, it's so cute. I love the brown and white. I think it turned out really sweet, and I can't wait for her to wear it. It was so fun. The color work on this is so fun and so easy because it's just one by one. So like if you have never done color work before, I think this would be a really good beginner color work project. It's very simple but so effective. I love the way it looks. So yeah, that's my badger sweater. I didn't really make any modifications. I did the tubular cast on at the neck. I did the ribbing like 2 rounds shorter because I like all my ribbings to match, and this ribbing would have been shorter than this ribbing if I didn't. And then for the sleeves, it like tells you to knit to a certain length, do decreases, and then knit a little bit more, and then do the color work. I just knit to the length, did the decreases, and then went straight into the color work. So there wasn't like a weird random decrease round in the middle of my sleeve, and I think it worked out fine. And then I did the sleeve ribbing to match the body ribbing. So yeah, I still have leftover yarn for this. I'm trying to decide if I want to just keep it and like in case I need to lengthen the sleeves or the body at all, or if I use it for like a headband or a balaclava for her or something. I do think I need to make Caroline a balaclava because I made her the hat, but she pulls it off. And so I think we're getting into the colder season where she does need to be wearing a hat if we're going outside for any extended period of time. I think I'm gonna end up making her a balaclava because I just need her to keep her ears warm. But yes, that is my badger sweater. It's very soft, it's very cute, and I'm really, really happy with how it turned out. So those are my 3 finished objects for this month. I've got 2 whips to show you, and then some finished spinning. And I know I haven't cast on any of the projects that I talked about wanting to cast on last month, but I'm going to. I'm really excited to do that. So we'll talk about that in a second. One of my whips that you've seen before is my cloud sweater by apt.atelier. I have not made a huge amount of progress on this. I'm just going on the body. I probably have another 10 or 12 centimeters to go on the body before I do the ribbing. So this is just like trucking along. I'm knitting it in Nutidin, 2 strands of Nutidin held together. This is the color Sticka from the February collection. So I'm just going along with this. I'm not like at a huge rush to get it done. I think I would like to have it, so I may spend some more time on this here shortly, but that's where I'm at. I haven't even used 2 whole plates of yarn yet, and I'm like 2/3 of the way through the body. So I'm just gonna keep trucking away on this. That's not very exciting, but that's what I'm working on there. And then my other cast on is another sweater for Caroline. I want her to have like a cute fall sweater. So I've casted on the Holger sweater by Petite Knit, which I've already knit her one. I knit her one in February, March-ish time, that I put her in every month when I take her picture to see how she's grown. And I really like it. So I'm knitting her another one using this yarn, which I've shown you so many times on my channel because I wanted to use it to make I bought it years ago, like 2021, 2022 maybe. I think it was 2021. I bought this yarn in Monterey, California at a really cute little shop. I think it's called Slow Knit. It's just a one-off skein of hand-dyed yarn from a dyer that doesn't even dye anymore. But I really loved the color, so I bought it, and I had no idea what I was going to use with it. It's 100% superwash merino, so I didn't want to use it for socks because I didn't want it to break. And I was thinking maybe I would make a mini mock neck this summer, but I could not get gauge. And then I was like, oh, my Holger sweater that I already made used just about, this is I think 450 meters for 100 grams, so it's a thinner fingering weight. And the Holger sweater that I made for Caroline used almost exactly 2 skeins of Sendisgarn Sunday, which I think those are 230 meters each. So I had a slightly more of that, but it's like, oh, I could almost get perfectly the 1 to 2 year size of the Holger sweater out of this skein of yarn. So that's what I'm doing. And it's very fall colored. So I want to finish it fall so she can wear it. But yeah, I've started the back. I cast this on yesterday after I finished the Badger sweater. So it's pretty fresh, but I've done a bit of the back panel. I was trying to decide how I wanted to manage the color, because I've never actually knit anything with hand-dyed yarn before. This is my first hand-dyed yarn project. And I was thinking, and I'm like a little bit concerned about color pooling and striping and whatever. And so I was thinking I would alternate skeins, or basically knit from the inside and from the outside. But this yarn is so tangly. I spent like an hour yesterday untangling some yarn that got tangled to the point that I had to break the yarn, which I was really annoyed about because I don't like breaking the yarn when I don't need to. So I just thought that would be a nightmare if I was trying to knit from both ends of this ball of yarn. So I've just decided to go for it. And if the color pools or gets weird, then it pools or gets weird. And maybe I'll alternate skeins on the body, but for now, I'm just gonna go with it. And it's turning out really cute. I don't know how well you're gonna be able to see. I might have to put in some like B-roll footage here so you can see, but the color is like, looks like hand-dyed yarn. It's like variegated and pretty, and I think it'll be nice. So I'm just gonna keep knitting away on this. I'm maybe like a little less than halfway through the body here. I don't think I have a measuring tape handy, so I can't tell you exactly where I'm at. But yeah, I'm like maybe almost halfway through the back yoke. So I think I should be able to knit this up pretty quickly. I'm hoping to have it done by like end of October, but we'll see. I'm not in a huge rush, and I think it's going to be hard for me to like be motivated to work on this once it's joined in the round. So I think this is going to end up being my portable project that I take to work with me, like on the bus, and I'll just keep plugging away on it, and hopefully it'll be done by the next time I see you. But if it's not, then it's not. So yeah, that's my Holger sweater. I think at some point I will make like the actual striped Holger sweater, but for now I'm just using it as like a fingering weight drop shoulder children's pattern. So that's the Holger. And yeah, those are my 2 whips. Not a whole lot happening on those right now. I've been mostly focused on, I got sidetracked basically by this and by my hat, but yeah, those are my 2 whips. I think once I finish the Holger sweater, actually, no, I think I will cast on the mini honey vest pretty soon, because once I join the Holger in the round and have my cloud sweater in the round, I'm going to just have a lot of knitting in the round. And while I like knitting in the round, sometimes if I'm like watching a show or something, a lot of times I like to do something that's a little bit more engaging than just knitting flat in the round, or I mean knitting stockinette in the round, because it gets a little bit boring. So I think I'm going to cast on my honey vest, the mini honey vest for Caroline, sometime this week, so that I can do the back panel, which is also just knitting. But I want to get started on the honeycomb brioche, because I think it'll be nice to have something a little bit different to work on than just plain knitting. And then after that, I don't know what I'm going to cast on next for myself. I'm undecided. I think maybe a cabled cardigan. I've been really loving a lot of the cabled cardigan designs that are coming out right now. I think I'm going to do the Billy cardigan by Sari Nordland, although I do really like the recent cardigan pattern that came out from Lena Holm Samse. It's really pretty. I don't remember what it's called, but I like the honeycomb cables on the Billy cardigan. I think I want honeycomb cables, so that's probably my plan. And I'm just going to do like a cream 100% wool. So that's my plan for that. And then I do want to spin for a sweater to knit, so that'll probably be another something that I work on. So yeah, that's the plans for me. I'm mostly focused on knitting for Caroline right now because I have a lot of sweaters already. She doesn't. So I'm behind the times. I've got to get cracking on making her things. So yes, okay, that's my knitting for now. I do actually really want to knit my other slipper. I made this one. Where is it? Oh, I made this slipper from the 52 Weeks of Socks book. I don't remember what it's called now. The Elvis slipper? That's what it is. It's the Elvis slipper. And I knit this in like June maybe. And then I haven't knit the other one, but I think I'm going to, that's actually probably what I cast on next, is the Elvis slipper, because I want to have another one. And then I think my plan is that, so I have these two colors. These are both Briggs & Little. The dark is Plum and the light is Fundy Fog. I think I'm gonna knit my other one of these and then see how much yarn I have left, and I may knit another pair but with the main colors reversed to give as a gift to my mother-in-law for Christmas. We'll see. This will also knit up super fast, even though it's all over color work. It's pretty simple, like mostly 1x1 color work. I think the longest stretch of there's some places where it's 2 stitches, but it's very fast. And it's a DK weight yarn, so on 3.25 millimeter needles, I'm pretty sure. So it was pretty fast and pretty fun. So that is going to be my next cast on, I think, because I really like this little guy, and I wear slippers a lot at home in the wintertime because my house is cold and old, and I like to keep my feet warm, but I always forget where I have left my like actual slippers. I have these like Ugg style slippers. They're not actually the Ugg ones, but I always forget where I put them. And so I think I kind of want some socky kind of slippers that are a little bit easier to remember where they are, or where I don't have to, like, I don't know. They're just, I take my slippers off of my feet when I sit, because I often sit cross-legged even in my desk chair. And then I like get up and walk around and like forget them. I leave them somewhere and I don't remember where they are, but I can sit cross-legged in my chair with these on because they're socks and I don't have like a hard bottom on them. So yeah, I need to make my other one of these and then make a gift pair. But yeah, that's my plan. So we're going to do that also here pretty soon. Maybe I'll cast that on. I think I might cast that on actually before I do the honey vest, because I need to get them done. So yes, that is that. Okay, my spinning. I did a fair amount of spinning in the first half of this month, and then I spun so much that I strained my wrist, so I had to stop for a couple weeks. So I spun, I don't remember which one of these skeins I spun first. I think it was this one, but these are both skeins of fiber that I bought at Flock. The fiber is from Little Fiber Company. It's the matcha cheesecake colorway from her dessert collection. It's beautiful. And I now have 2 skeins. I spun up everything that I bought. This is my first time, beyond that fiber that I dyed myself, this is my first time dyeing or spinning fiber that somebody else dyed, that like actually knows what they're doing. And I really like it. I haven't washed these skeins yet. I'm going to spin a bunch of skeins and then wash them all at once. But there's my 2 skeins. They're very like tonal. There's not a ton of like, it's just a lot of greens, which is very up my alley. But here are my 2 skeins. I think they turned out gorgeous. And my plan for these, I think I decided, because I also spun up this skein. I originally bought this fiber to knit together, but as you can see, I just don't think that, I'm not convinced that they're going to look right together, because the greens in the matcha cheesecake are quite a lot cooler than this green, which is Pickles from Skagit Woolen Works. I still have one more thing of the fiber. It's Targhee Alpaca. These are 100% Falkland wool, but this one I spun a whole skein of already, and I really like, but I'm not convinced that they go together. I keep going back and forth. I don't know. In the sunlight, I think they just don't look quite right together. So I think my plan is that I want to knit a slip over with these 2, and like just a very plain stockinette slip over that can also be worn as a tank. I'm really into that look. Petite Knit does it a lot, and she's like my style icon basically. So I think I want to do that. I don't know that I'm going to use a pattern. I may just kind of freestyle it based on some other patterns that I've knit before. But that's my plan for these, because I have, before washing, I have about 650 meters of this yarn, maybe a little bit more. And I know I'm going to lose some with washing, so I'll probably end up with about 600 meters total. So I think if I knit a top down slip over, I can just knit until I run out of yarn. Like I'll probably knit the back, knit the front, join the round, knit till I run out of a skein, do all of the edges, like the 2 armholes and the neck edge, and then just knit until I run out of yarn. And if it's cropped, it's fine. I think especially for a slip over. And if it's one that you're going to wear as just a top on its own, cropped is fine. So that's my plan for these. And then I had a stroke of inspiration with what to do with this yarn very recently. So this yarn I've somehow spun a little bit finer. I think I have 360 meters of this one skein before washing. So it'll probably go down to like 320-ish. And then I'm currently spinning the second 100 grams of fiber that I have, or 8 ounces. And I think what I want to do with this is make a half and half triangles wrap, which if you've been watching me for a while, I knit a half and half wrap January. I finished it in like January or February of 2023. So like over like almost 2 years ago now. And I hated knitting it. I hated the process of knitting it, but I really love the finished product. I keep it at work in my office, and I use it either as like a wrap over my shoulders or a blanket on my lap when I'm working, and it's so nice. And I can't think of what else I would use this yarn for. So I might make a half and half wrap. And I think what I would want to put with it is like a white, in my mind, I'm thinking this is one side, and on the other side, like a hand-dyed yarn that's mostly white, but with a bunch of speckles. And I think I want the speckles to be like green and lavender. I'm very inspired by this hat that Emily from High Fiber Knits, she knit this like brioche hat a while ago, like maybe in the winter time of this year, like early this year. And it was like this color and a purple, like a lilac purple. And it's so cool. And then at Flock, this fiber was next to a lilac fiber at the booth. Like this fiber was next to like a really beautiful, shocking lilac violet-y kind of color. And I loved them together. So I think it would be really cool to do a shawl that's like this and then a white with lilac-y speckles. So if you know of a hand-dyed yarn that's like mostly white but has lilac-y speckles and greens, let me know. If not, I might have to dye it on my own. We'll see. That's my current plan. Plans change. I change my plans quite a lot. So yeah. I was hoping to have all that fiber spun by the end of this month, but again, like I spun so much that I strained my wrist. And so I spun those two braids, the pickles and then the whole braid of the matcha cheesecake. So that's 8 ounces of fiber I spun. I was trying to spin an ounce a day, and then I spun that whole braid of the matcha cheesecake in like 3 days, spun and plied it, and it hurt my wrist. Like because I was doing short forward draft, and I think this motion was just like really irritating my wrist. And so I had to stop spinning for a while, and I was knitting a little bit slower just to kind of give my wrist a little bit of a break. But I'm feeling better now, and so I think I'm back, and I started just drafting with the other hand, which is a learning curve, but it's nice to be an ambidextrous drafter. So I want to finish spinning up that fiber so that I can start spinning some more fiber. I want to spin for a sweater, and I have sweater quantities of fiber to spin. So that's the next thing I want to do. So yeah, just spinning, I'm knitting. That's pretty much it for me, I think. I feel like this wasn't the most riveting month, but again, I was doing a fair amount of spinning, and then I hurt my wrist. But I do have these fun baby projects. So if you like baby projects, that's great. There's some options, and I think in the next month we'll have more to show. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. My pace has slowed from past me, and that's okay. I'm very happy with the amount of knitting I was able to get done this month. I had a good time, and I'm just here to share. I'm here to share what I've done, and this is what I've done. So I hope this video was interesting. I hope you enjoyed it. It was a little shorter than normal, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. So yeah, thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. I love chatting with you. It makes me very happy. Thank you all for being so supportive. Over the last few videos, I've done a fair few sponsorships, which I don't feel bad about doing. I like to be able to offer my content to you for free. And so taking a sponsorship is a way for me to be able to monetize this hobby of mine without making you pay for it. I also am not going to do a sponsorship from a brand that I don't like. So I genuinely use the things that I have done ads for in the past and will continue to do in the future. So I hope that doesn't bother you. I appreciate you being supportive. I appreciate you being here. I just love chatting about my projects. It's very fun. And yeah, that's all I have. So thank you so much again for watching, and I will see you again soon.